Two people, same income, same $500 a month. One of them ends up with $340,000, the other ends up with over 1.1 million. They did the exact same thing. The only difference was when they started. And if you're in your 20s or early 30s right now, you are sitting on the more valuable side of that gap without even realizing it. Let me show you exactly what that's worth. Here's the setup. You're 25, you have a job, rent, or you're still at home saving on rent, food, a phone bill, a life that costs roughly what you earn. And somewhere in the back of your mind, there's this quiet pressure that you should be doing something smarter with your money. You just don't know what, and every finance video makes it sound complicated. So forget complicated. This is one decision. $500 a month, not 5,000. Not some lump sum you don't have. 500. That's roughly a nice dinner out, a grab habit, and a couple of subscriptions you forgot you're paying for. And we're going to follow that $500 across the next 35 years, month by month, so you can see exactly what it becomes. Month 1. You set up an automatic transfer. Not into a savings account, into a brokerage account. You buy one thing. A low-cost index fund that tracks the broad market. You are not picking stocks. You are not timing anything. You are buying a tiny slice of the entire economy, automatically on the same day every month, no matter what the news is screaming that week. The first month, the market drops. You do nothing. The second month, it recovers. You do nothing. The third month, it drops again. You still do nothing. And here's the part nobody tells you. Doing nothing is the work. The hard part of investing is not choosing what to buy. The hard part is sitting still while your brain begs you to react. By the end of year 1, you've put in $6,000. Your account is worth somewhere around $6,000, give or take, depending on what the market did. You have not gotten rich. Nothing in your life looks different. But you've built the single most valuable financial habit a person can have, and you kept it for a full year. The number is small. It doesn't matter. It exists. That's the only thing that counts in year 1. Now let's jump. You're 30, 5 years in. You've contributed $30,000 of your own money. Assuming the long-term average return of around 8% a year, your portfolio is worth roughly $36,000. The market just did almost $7,000 of work for you. Sit with that. You earned $7,000 that had nothing to do with your job, nothing to do with your hours, your boss, your performance review, or your commute. It showed up because your money was in the right place doing the right thing while you lived your life. And something else has changed by year 5. That $500 leaving your account every month no longer feels like a sacrifice. Your brain has quietly reclassified it from money. I'm giving up to money that was never really there. That shift is everything. Because the people who fail at this do not fail in the market. They fail in their own head. They feel that money leaving. They treat it as a loss instead of a transfer. So they stop. During the first scary headline or the first bad year or the first time something else wants that money, you didn't stop. That's the whole game. Year 10, you're 35. You've put in $60,000. Your portfolio is worth around $91,000. The market has added more than $30,000 on top of what you contributed. And now, watch what starts happening, because this is where most people's intuition breaks. Compound growth does not move in a straight line. It doesn't add the same amount every year. It adds a percentage of whatever is already there. So the bigger the pile gets, the faster it grows on its own. In year 1, the market added a few $100s. By year 10, it's adding $7,000 a year. That's more than a full month of your own contributions appearing out of nowhere without you lifting a finger. And at 35, you notice a feeling you didn't expect. Not rich, not free, protected. A bad month at work, a restructuring rumor, a boss going cold, a whole department getting quietly dissolved. It doesn't hit the same anymore. Because you have $91,000 sitting in an account that has nothing to do with your employer. That doesn't change your life loudly, it changes it underneath, structurally, permanently. Year 15, you're 40, you've contributed $90,000. Your portfolio is worth roughly $173,000. The market has now generated about $83,000 of that, almost as much as you put in yourself. This is the crossover. The point where your money is earning nearly as fast as you're feeding it. At $173,000, your portfolio is throwing off around $13,000, $14,000 a year in average returns. That's more than $1,100 a month, more than double what you're still putting in. Read that again. The portfolio is now investing more than you are. Now let's run it all the way out. You keep going. Same 500 a month. You hit 60 years old. And here's where it lands. Over $1 million. You contributed $210,000 across 35 years. The market generated more than $800,000 on top of it. For every single dollar you put in, the market handed you roughly 4 more. While you slept. While you worked jobs you loved and jobs you hated. While you traveled, got sick, had good years and hard ones. The money worked the entire time. Now here's the part I need you to actually feel, because this is the whole reason I made this video. Let's take that exact same person and change one thing. Same $500, same 8%, same discipline. But they start at 40 instead of 25. 15 years later, that person ends up with around $340,000, not $1 million. $340,000. The same monthly amount started 15 years later produces a portfolio nearly 4 times smaller. Stop and think about how strange that is. 15 extra years of the same $500 didn't make them 50% richer. It made them 4 times richer. Our brains are built to understand addition. We are terrible at understanding what time does to money. We look at 15 years and assume it's worth a bit more. It's worth almost everything. And those 15 years between 25 and 40 are not special years where you suddenly have more money. They're usually the broke years, the figuring it out years. Career still building, rent eating your income, no idea what you're doing. That's exactly the point. Those years aren't valuable because you have money. They're valuable because you have time. And time is the one ingredient in this entire equation that you can never buy back later. No amount of money at 40 can recreate the 15 years you didn't start at 25. So here's the actual lesson. It's not that $500 is magic. It isn't. It's not that $1 million at 60 is some fantasy number. For a lot of people, it won't even be enough, and building more just means starting earlier or putting in more. The lesson is simpler than any of that. The most valuable financial advantage you will ever have is the thing you currently think you're wasting. Time. The person who starts tonight ends up with a different life than the person who starts in 6 months. Not dramatically different on the surface, but measurably, mathematically, permanently different. And the version of you at 60 is built entirely by the decisions the version of you right now is willing to make. You can't go back and start at 20. But here's the good news the 40-year-old in this video would kill to hear. You're not them yet. You still have the expensive years ahead of you, not behind you. The best time to start was years ago. The second best time is tonight. Not next month when the market feels calmer. Not next year when the credit card's paid off. Not someday when it finally feels right. Tonight. Because the 35 years that decide what your life looks like at 60 start the exact moment you decide they do. So let me ask you, what's the real reason you haven't started yet? Be honest in the comments. I read everyone, and I'll pin the most honest answer.